Growing up, I didn't have any role models who were Asian besides my mom. I grew up in a white town with kids who would bully me for looking differently, while the teachers would shrug and not understand. The kids would pull their eyes back and call me all kinds of names. As I grew up, I stopped caring and learned to embrace my heritage and found my passion as a teacher. In this performance, I will talk about the ups and downs of being the only Asian teacher in a school that lacks diversity. It was 2 years ago when I had a fleeting thought that it would be fun to be a teacher. I thought it would be nice to be a role model for kids like me who didn't get one. So I quit my 4-year-long cashier job and applied for a summer camp. That summer, I only worked part-time and didn't make too many lasting relationships. But once the summer was over, I got lucky and got a job at a Catholic school as a first-grade teacher's aide in the least diverse town in Marin County. I was nervous. I wasn't Catholic, and I was the only Asian non-binary person that worked there out of the 3 other existing people of color that had already worked there. It was hard at first. I didn't have the guts to tell him I wasn't Catholic, let alone non-binary, so I had to go by Miss Chang. I had to attend Mass with the kids, and for the first time going, the father seemed confused when I came up for the communion with my arms crossed, indicating I wasn't Catholic and I did not want to receive the communion. He gave me the communion anyways with a puzzled look on his face, which scared me into receiving the communion every time after to avoid that from happening again. Despite the trouble, it became worth it just to see my kids. Each day in the classroom, the kids weren't just learning from me, but I was learning from them. I'd only worked there for about a month when my birthday came around. I came in a bit later that day, and I forgot to bring birthday treats. The teacher had already bought cupcakes for me in the class and handed me the cards the kids made me while I wasn't there, and the entire class rushed to give me a hug. I got home that night and read each of the cards, which I still have today. My favorite one is the one that says, "Happy Birthday." One month, I taught them about Chinese New Year's. The class wasn't very diverse, but had about 25% kids of color. When I taught Chinese New Year's, the kids were very invested. I brought them almond cookies to eat and red envelopes to look at while I talked. The one Asian kid in the class came up to me excitedly to tell me that he and his family celebrated Lunar New Year too and gave me a hug. Since then, they started to feel much more comfortable with me. Several of them had randomly come up to me just to give me a hug, and some have accidentally called me mom. I have kept every single drawing, gift, and card they've made me. My camera roll consists of selfies from the kids from them pickpocketing my phone. My water bottle consists of stickers from The Legend of Zelda that keep appearing from one kid discreetly putting them on when I'm not looking. My wall consists of art and things they've made me, and my keychain is named after my boyfriend, who they named because they like to make fun of me for having one. Despite being the only Asian person working there, it was worth it knowing I could be the teacher that understood them, unlike the ones that I'd had before. I would never trade my memories of them for anything. In my 2 years of teaching, I have taken over 2 colts, one from my first graders called the Minions, and one from the 6th graders called the Oompa Loompas. And I've gotten into several Pokemon battles with my students, all of them which I've lost. What was once a fleeting idea to become a teacher became my passion. I reached my goal of becoming a safe space for these kids, and for that I will always be grateful for them and hold them dear to my heart when I move on to teach future generations.